Hey guys, so it's time for the weekly recap, and I'm going to start incorporating the updates in Discord as well, just because sometimes things don't show up in GitHub and they only show up on the back end, which wouldn't show up on GitHub. And so I'm going to start going through Discord, the updates, news, and announcements channels as well on Discord, just to get the full picture of what's happening. So this happened last week, and we kind of talked about it. But one thing I'd missed was the calendar events have been adjusted, so there's going to be more calendar events, like the negative and positive events. Before there was like maybe one a week, and now there's gonna be like 3 to 4 to 5 per week. So it sounds like there's only gonna be one negative and like multiple positive events. So that should be good for everyone. There was an error with the quarry. No one could bid on the first quarry auction, so they added another one. They finally released the leveling up to level 150, so that's good. They're gonna add more skills as well, so look out for those. This is just telling people that the devs are never going to DM people. They fixed an issue with the floating island. So like if the floating island would appear like within an hour of reset time before or after, it would just disappear right away for some reason. So they fixed that. Yeah, so that's them fixing it. This is just to get pinged for the GitHub update role. And then there was an error with the autumn and summer guardians, and I actually mentioned it in my ranking all the chapter item video. I said that the autumn and summer ones should probably be switched, and they ended up switching them. So the summer one is now green, and the autumn one is now orange. Before it was backwards. I think there's something in the news channel as well. Yeah, so they're working on the tax system change, and so essentially it's just going to tax the first couple. Well, the first island you can't sell anything, and then the second island the tax is gonna increase a lot, and then on Volcano Island the tax is actually gonna come down a bit. So this is to prevent botting and multi-accounting. So in my opinion, it's a good change. I don't know if this was the best way to do it or if the numbers are exactly right, but I do think that something needed to be done to prevent multi-accounting and bots. And then the gem prices increased. So they had said this when they launched Flower, that there was going to be an increase, and the increase happened a couple days ago. And now we'll go over to GitHub quarry removable criteria. So this was an issue with the quarry couldn't be removed if you had trees cut, but that doesn't really make sense. It should have been based on stone, so they fixed that. Move mod button. So this is just a mod thing. Like I said, they increased the max level to 150. Remove cancel count from game state. I'm not sure what that is. As I spoke about this last week, I had said something about maybe this had something to do with the quarry not being able to be purchased. Elias clarified in the comments that that was inaccurate, but they had put this in and then taken it out and they put it back in again. So whatever this is, they fixed it. Flower dashboard. So they're working on a dashboard to show how, like, who's the biggest burner of flower, who's earned the most, I guess, stuff like that. And it's not really in game, so like it just says coming soon. So I'm not really gonna show it, but they're working on something to show how flower is being transferred in the game. Increased gem price. So we talked about this. The gem prices are up, but if you use flower, it's still cheaper than it was when it was SFL, so that's good at least. Add back save 30% using flower widget. So I'm guessing there was something wrong with this discount for the flower, but put that back in. Ledger route. So I'm guessing this has something to do with moving your farm to a ledger. I'm guessing they fixed something with that. Small UI updates. They didn't really include any pictures here of what that was, so I'm not sure what the UI updates were. Maybe it must be just being something small. Moderator reads. So this is just mod tools that are updated. Tag players with GitHub. So they're working on anytime a GitHub update is released, tagging players. It didn't work right away, but they're still working on it. Starter pack bundle price. So there was an issue with buying the starter pack for like $1 because the gem prices increased, so they fixed that. Clean up unused flags. That's just cleaning up old data. We talked about this. The autumn and summer guardians were backwards. They fixed that. And this allows admins to send airdrops in batches. So it's just, once again, a behind the scenes for dev kind of deal. So not much in GitHub really, which is why I wanted to start including the Discord updates, because that really gives a better idea of what has happened this week. So the big things were the calendar events that I didn't mention from the previous week. That was big. Tax updates, max level increase, floating island fixed. That a lot of people were having issues with that. The autumn and summer Guardian swap, and the gem price increases. Those were the big things. So there were actually a lot, but just not a lot in GitHub. So until next week, or until next one, have a good day, guys. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't yet. It would help me out a lot. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Have a good day, guys.